Hey y'all, it's Kat with Kat Southern Charms. Today we're gonna be doing a step-by-step bloom. And what you'll need is a 1v1 resin. I'm using Stone Coat's Art Coat. Any 1v1 is good. Make sure that you measure it by volume. Remember, I measured to the lip of my 3-ounce bathroom cups for part A and part B, and then I mix it in a bigger cup. It is not by weight, so don't put it on a scale because your hardener weighs more than your resin, and you'll throw off your chemical compound. So I've gone ahead, mixed up my resin, poured it in, popped some bubbles. What we're gonna need for a bloom, let's go over what we need. We need the resin in your coasters. You need some alcohol inks. I'm using the Let's Resin, here it is. I'm using Let's Resin's 48 count. Beautiful, beautiful colors in here, which I'm gonna show you what we're gonna do today. We're gonna do a peach rose, a dandelion yellow, then we're gonna do a aquamarine, aquamarine, I was right. And we have just regular old purple. We have a dark orchid, and we have just a regular orchid. So those are the colors that I'm gonna use in these. Shake up your alcohol inks. I'm gonna go ahead and take my lids off, and I'm gonna set my lid next to the bottle it goes to because I don't want to get those mixed up and combine colors. So you got your resin poured in your coasters, pop any bubbles, and at this point you can use heat to pop bubbles. Let's give a little once over here. All good. Now, from here out, no more heat because we're going to be using alcohol. And remember what I told you. If you use heat with alcohol inks or regular alcohol, poof, you're going to get a little fire that you don't want. So, let me open these up so we're ready to pour. And then for the bloom part, we're gonna use the Pinata, the Blanco. And it's their alcohol ink, but this Blanco also has some white paste in it. This is what makes your blooms. So I added, I think 5 drops in here. I want it to look like 2% milk. This is gonna vary. And you can look at your blooms. I would start with 2% milk, do a bloom, and if you want it a little more predominant, then you can add more of the Pinata color. So, set this over here. What I do is I have a piping bag and I fold it over a cup. So when it makes it easier that I have 2 hands to work with when I'm pouring we'll just pour it in now. So I pour all of my white in this bag so I can pipe my design. And you can do a bloom, let me get all this in this bag. You can do a bloom in a bunch of different ways. You can do little dots. You can actually drop out flower petals on your broom. Goodness gracious, it is Monday, isn't it? On your bloom, you can do flower petals. Why is that so hard today? I did not drink yesterday for Cinco de Mayo. Did y'all? Leave me a comment. Did you have a margarita yesterday? What flavor did you have? I'm a watermelon fan, or just traditional. Anyway, so you can do the bloom, you can do spirals, or you can just do dots and make like a firework burst instead of a flower bloom. But, all right. So, I have my white in my bag. I'm going to let it go all the way down. And this, we're gonna let set. Usually 30 to 45 minutes until this is warm. I know Julie on Pour Your Heart Out, she has an exact temperature. I don't know what that is. I don't have a thermometer to measure it. I just know that when I touch the bag and I start feeling it heating up, it's good to go. And that is usually 30 to 45 minutes from the time that I mixed it. And I did mix this up a little bit earlier, so it won't be as long. But what we do now, let's put our pretty colors in. And you can pick and choose whatever you want. Let's do these in one. So I'm just gonna go around, add some drops. You see it's already spreading. This is the orchid. That's pretty. All right, so I'm just gonna put the lid, set it on top of there. And let's do some aquamarine. Then we'll do some of the peach red, which is beautiful. Look at that bright color, y'all. I wanna add some more over here. These gloves. All right. Then we'll do some of the dandelion yellow. Fill in any holes you want. If you want to do, like I think I'll want a little more of this aqua. I like that color. All right, we're gonna let it do its thing. Whew. Now, I think this next one, I wanna do, let's just do light and dark orchid and see how that turns out. You can do your darker colors outside, your lighter colors on the inside. You can mix them like I did over here. All right, let's add, let's do purple with this one. And then I want to do a lighter color. I might put that peachy red in the middle. What do you think about that? And this is all just experiment. Wow, this is not spreading a whole lot like normal. That's kind of strange. All right, and let's do a peachy red in the middle. And y'all, I tell you, alcohol inks, they vary in how much they spread, how vibrant they are. Octopus has some really good inks that spread real well. All right, so let's do aquamarine and the peachy in this last one. Wow, all right. I want to do this in the center. And when these mix, you see it's turning purple. That's going to be pretty. Like that ombre between the two colors. Okay. Let me put these down. And see, if you have openings like this, you can go back in and add some more inks to your blank areas, because we're gonna let this sit and move and warm up and do its thing. And that's probably why this isn't, I probably didn't let this resin heat up enough, set enough before I started doing this. It's all right though. Okay. A little more here. Some people like the openings because, you know, like with micas, alcohol inks, they all move toward the center. That's something they have in common. They all move toward the center. All right, so we're gonna let that do its thing. I'm gonna let this heat up. We're gonna come back and I'll see you in a few. We're back, y'all. Things have moved around a little bit. Not too bad though. Move this out of the way. I think our white, still not as warm as I'd like it to be. And I'm just gonna cut the very, oh, there goes my alarm, the very tip of this off. Okay? Now, in this one, let's just do a swirl. You want to go slow, and you want it to be the same thickness, so it's consistent for your bloom. Okay, that's one. Now, this one, let's do flower petals. You just make flower petals. And then you go to the next row. Okay, and now, what do you think we should do here? Let's do another swirl. I'm gonna recap, guys, once I get this done. I'm gonna add a little more here, a little more there, and I want to do a little baby flower there. Okay, so that's all the white. Where's my handy dandy? Okay, for this part, you got to swirl in. Oop, I see a bubble. Go away. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna make our flowers. And I always start from outside, go to the center, and I do it like a clock. So, well, you facing you guys, this would be 12 o'clock. So I'm gonna pull in toward the center, lightly lift up, and wipe off my stick. Then I'm gonna go to 3 o'clock. Do the same thing. And wipe off my stick. 6 o'clock, pull in. 9 o'clock. And now I'm gonna go back to between these. So this will be like 2 o'clock. Between 1 and 2. You're just gonna go in between where you went before and pull it to the center. Same thing here. And then here to the center. Then now between each of these petals, I'm gonna go out and I'm not gonna connect to the end of my mold. I'm just gonna pull out here and stop. Pull out here and stop. Let me grab my other one. I should have my gloves on, but I left them. So, we're making petals is what we're doing now. Okay? And you'll see when it cures. You're just dragging color up through the petals. Oop, I dumped that one. One more on this. And then we're going to swirl the center. And when I swirl the center, I don't put my stick all the way to the bottom of the mold because I don't want to scratch the mold and I don't want to go all the way down. So I'll go like halfway down of the mold, not all the way to the bottom, about halfway to do my swirl. Okay, so we're gonna finish these 12 o'clock, 3, 6, 9, and you see the 4 petals there? So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna go in, and you can use, ooh, I had a hair in there. Gotta love having huskies. You can use a silicone tool. You can use a toothpick, whatever you want to do. If you're using a toothpick, be careful. I have silicone tools like this that I use for my nails. You can use those, that's fine. Now we're gonna pull them back out. So we're pulling this pink color up through the petal to give the petal a little more depth. That's why we pull to the outside, to drag that color and give your flower petals more depth. There we go. All right. And then we're gonna go in slowly, swirl, and lift up. Okay, now 12 o'clock. I hope y'all learned something from this. I know a lot of people have asked, and I tell you, Julie from Pour Your Heart Out, she's in Australia. She is like the bloom queen. She has some incredible techniques. Like you can do dots and make like a firework. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, we're gonna go to the middle. This is the one that I did the 2 shades of purple and the pink in the center. I think it's gonna be beautiful when it blooms. All right. Now let's go inside to out to pull some pink in through the petals. The resin did not thicken up like normal either. We're gonna see how these turn out because this has been sitting a long time. So, you know what I say. There you go. All right, let's make our little swirl. That's it. Now, I'm not spraying alcohol on these. I'm gonna show y'all. I'm gonna use my torch, pop these little bubbles here. Pop any little bubbles there. Pop those bad boys. Because y'all always see me spray with, all right, alcohol. A few more. Okay, that looks good. So I'm gonna let it sit. Bubbles are gonna still keep coming up. I'm gonna babysit the bubbles, but let's recap, okay? You mix your resin, you pour it in. I usually let it sit 15-20 minutes before I add my alcohol inks. Add your alcohol inks, you let them spread out. You can see here, they're pulled away from the side in this one, and that's fine. Some people really like that design, so you can see your background color, and it makes the bloom really pop, because I'm going to put a dark background on these. Or you can add more ink when you come back and check. You can add some more ink if you want to solid all the way around. But inks, just like mica, pull to the center of your project, and you can see that. It all wants to go to the center and have a party. So make sure you, you do your inks. You let it, you don't do anything to it, just let it do its thing and dance and hang out and have a good time and create all these beautiful little effects. At the same time, you mix up your white, and this is the Pinata Blanco. You can use Let's Resin alcohol ink, that's a Sinker White, because it's got a little bit of pigment paste in it too. But you do that, and you let your white, put it in a piping bag. Remember we did that. Put it in a piping bag, and you let it sit 45 minutes to an hour till it gets warm to touch in your hands. Then you either do, like we did, the swirl technique. You can do the flower bloom technique with the little flower petals, or, and I didn't do this one, probably should have, or you can do the dots to make like the fireworks starburst effect. If you want to see that, Julie has that on her YouTube page, and I'll tag it in the description of this video for you guys. It's really fun. She comes up with some really cool stuff. But remember, when you first pour your alcohol drops, no fire, zero fire, or it's gonna poof on you and cause a fire. Anything you have around, if you have paper or anything around, it's gonna catch fire, and you can get into a really dire situation you don't want to be in. So now everything is done. Ooh, look at these, really starting to turn pretty. Anyway, now we let it cure completely. When we come back, we're gonna do a black background on this, which means I'll mix up more more resin, and put our black in, pour the backing, and then it'll be ready to unmold sometime tomorrow, but you won't have to wait that long. Anyway, I hope that gave you a step-by-step how-to with the blooms. I really like how this is turning out. Beautiful. Sorry, squirrel. Anyway, we're doing that. What else? Oh, I have another video coming up using Pure Cure powder, and we're gonna use these cute little molds here for bunnies and bears and kitty cats. And I've got to find my eyes. I don't know. If I don't have eyes for these, then I'll show you how to draw them after they cure. But that's an upcoming video. That's something that y'all have asked about, how to use that Pure Cure, the Resin-Crete. So be on the lookout. That means you gotta subscribe, and you gotta hit that bell so you don't miss when that video drops. And I have some others coming out really soon that y'all have been asking for too. If there's a video or some technique or something that you're struggling with, leave me a comment. Let me know what it is. And you might just see that in a future video. But for now, we're gonna bubble sit and pop any bubbles that come to the surface, and just let it do its thing. Okay, I'll see y'all very soon. For me, it'll be tomorrow or later tonight if these cure. I don't think so, but we'll be back soon with the results of this. Putting on the backing, how we do that. Do not, this is a trick or a tip I can give you right now. Do not break your seal on these coasters if you're gonna put a backing on it. You see, I did not fill them all the way up to the top because I know I'm gonna put a backing on this. While this cures, you have a seal to your mold. If you get too excited and you can't wait, you gotta see it right now before you put a backing on it, and you break it and take it out of the mold and think you can put it back in the mold and then do your backing, you're gonna be very upset when you pour your backing, and because that seal's broken, resin leaks down the side into the front of your beautiful work that you just did. So, as tempting as it is, do not take them out of the mold if you're gonna pour backing on it. That way, your seal's still there and you won't be crying over spilled resin later. All right, guys, that's all we have for now. That's the recap on the how-to part, and the next part will be the backing and the beautiful revealed. See you soon. Ta-ta for now.